Alright, today's video is going to be like a mini service. What I'm going to do in this, I want to do it all in one video. What I'm going to do, I want to change the oil, change the spark plug, change the air filter, oil filter. I'm going to put a new clutch cable on, and I want to clean and grease the chain. I mean, this goes to a few models to give you a good idea, but this is specifically for the rs4 125. So the first thing you want to be doing is warm up the engine to get that oil nice and hot. So, yep, first thing I'll do is I'll do that. Right, once you've got your engine up to temperature, the next thing you want to do, you want to take these bottom fairings off. So you've got 3 bolts. You've got one here, and one here. Take them 3 bolts out, and then actually you've got these pushing things at the back here. So you need to get these bottom fairings off. So that's the next part. Right, next thing you need to do is get a 24mm socket and crack open this drain plug here. So, yep, get your 24mm and just crack that open. Just be a little bit careful because it could be quite hot. Once it starts draining the majority of it, you need to pull this little filter out. It can be quite difficult to pull out. You can use long nose pliers. Pull that out, and also undo your dipstick. Lets it draw in some air from the top. It helps it drain a bit better. So yeah, take that out, put them to one side safe. Next part is to get the filter out. So use your same 24mm. Use your same 24mm to crack this open and get the filter out. Cover it off. You'll have the filter, and there'll be a spring on the back. Make sure you keep that spring and make sure you don't lose it, because you need to put that spring back on the when you put the new filter in. So yeah, your filter just comes out, just pops out like that. You can see all the bits in it. It's done its job filtering. And you just discard that, throw that away. Right, so while you're waiting for the oil to completely drain, you might as well put a spark plug and air filter in. So what you need to do is you need to get your key, take your seat off, and you need to undo the bolt on the top here and the 2 on the sides. There's one here and one on the other side. So you need to undo them first, and then we'll get to that stage. Right, to replace the air filter, firstly you need to undo these 2 bolts or screws. Sometimes they've got Allen keys in there instead of a Phillips head. There's 2 here and there's 2 under the tank, but we'll first undo these 2 here. Right, once we've got the back 2 out, the next 2 are like here. Oh God, look how rusty that is. To do that, you're going to have to hold the tank up. You're going to have to hold it with one hand and hold the tank back. Just screw them out. So yeah, you do it like this, pull the tank right back like that. Just be a little bit careful if your tank's full of petrol, because it will leak out the filler cap. Get the cover, to get this off, you have to close the tank back down. Lift it. Lift the filter up with your fingers so it goes into the back of this, and then just pull it out so it comes out like that. Okay. I mean, this is just after 6 months use, but can you tell which one's the new one? Imagine how much that was restricting the air. That's why, I mean, the cheapest chips, they're only like £10. So, you know, if you want to keep your bike in tip-top shape, it's worth changing. It tells you in the manual to do it every 6 months, so why not? So when you put it back in, you put it in this way. So you put that so it's facing in that way like that. And then you just same as you like put it in, really. I mean, took it out, sorry. So you just put it back in like that. There you go. And just tighten the screws back. Put the screws back in. That's the air filter done. If you've got any of this lithium grease or any sort of grease on that, it's probably worth spraying a little bit on the bolts there, just to stop them rusting up. And that's just for next time, you know, just general maintenance in general. Right, next we're going to get onto the spark plug. So first thing you need to do is pull the cap off the top. Right, you need to crack open the socket. Why does somebody always drive past when you're trying to do a video? Yeah, you need to use a 16mm. Most socket sets come with them. It's a dedicated like spark plug socket. So yeah, you need to crack that out, get a spark plug out. Just to give you a comparison, you know, why you should change these as well every 6 months. No award for guessing which one's the new one. But yeah, I can't be performing to its full potential, can it? Got to stay to it. Right, what you want to do, you want to tighten it up hand tight first, and then if you've got a torque wrench, which I recommend getting for if you're going to do motorbike maintenance, you need to tighten this up to 20 Newton meters, 20 Newton meters of torque. So yep, torque that up, and that's put the cap back on. Oh, actually, there's one more thing to do. Yeah, before you put the cap back on, I recommend putting just a bit of multi-purpose grease around the top of it here. And it just helps it to seal better, stops the water getting in there. I'll push that down, all the way down till it seals. Well, that's the spark plug bit done. Forgot to mention, before you put your spark plug in as well, it's best to use one of these gap tools. And on the Aprilia, you need to set it to 0.7. But be careful that you don't use the front, because that's inches. It's on the back, is millimeters. So yeah, it needs to go to that one there. Okay. Right, let's carry on with the oil change. So I've got a clean rag and cleaned it all out in there. Make sure there's no old residue like oil in there. Then get your filter. Make sure the rubber part is on the inside, and then fit it onto that hole there. And you can rub a bit of oil on there first, so it, you know, but don't really need to because it's moist. So it'll sit like that. Then you put the spring on the back and then put the cover back on. So when you tighten this back up, you just want to nip it up really. I mean, you want to nip it up so the seal's tight, but you don't want to bollock it up so that you know, you shred the thread. If you knacker the threads, you need a new engine or a new cover anyway. So just tighten it up till you get a feel, and when it gets tight, just that'll do. So over this side, and next thing you want to do is give this a nice clean. Make sure there's no debris in it from like the old oil. So you give that a nice clean. Give it a wipe out inside there. Push this back in. You'll feel it like go into place. And then stick your cap back on. Same again, just tighten it up. I mean, you can Google if you want to get the proper torque settings, but I just tied it up until it's just reasonably tight. Like you say, don't hang off it like so. You'll just knacker the threads up. Right, so just to quickly tighten that up. Right, this is the bit that everybody's been looking forward to, putting the oil in. This particular bike has a 5W40. I'm not going to go into this on this video, but you don't have to use 5W40. If you live like in quite a warm climate, you can use 10W40, be fine. But anyway, this has got a nozzle on it, so it's quite handy for like pouring in. And I say this particular bike as well, it only takes 1,200 millilitres. So what I'll do, because there's excess oil already, you can't get rid of every single bit of oil inside the engine. So what I'll do, I'll just put a litre in first. I'll put the 1 bottle in, and then I'll warm it up, let it circulate, and then do a dipstick test to see whether I need to put any more in. So let's pour this in. Okay, so that's a litre of oil put in. I'm not sure if people know, but you put it in this hole here where you took the dipstick out. That's where you fill it from. So I'll put the dipstick back in now, warm it up, run it, and then we'll take a check to see what the level is. Okay, once you've warmed it up, let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then take your dipstick out, wipe it all over so it's nice and clean, and then put it back in. But make sure you screw it all the way down. Don't just drop it in like that, or you'll put too much oil in. You need to screw it down on this model. Some models you don't. Some models you have to like have a look in your user manual, because some models you do just rest it on the top. So you screw it all the way down. Oh yeah, make sure your bike's standing up straight as well. If it's over to this side, you're going to get more oil. so it'll give you a false reading. Then screw it all the way down, pull it back out, try to pull it out where it's not going to rub against the side, and then have a look at it. See if I can get this to focus. It's about halfway. With this model I've found that like if you fill it pretty much to the top, that's where it likes to be. So I'll put a little tiny bit more in. So yeah, just keep topping it up until it gets to just nearly by the max. And say once you take it out for a ride, give it a good, you know, good 5-10 mile ride, come back, leave it for, you know, 3 to 5 minutes, and then check it then, and that will give you a more accurate reading. And if it is over the full line, you can use a syringe to pull some out. It's probably the easiest way, but because you can do just as much damage putting too much oil in than not enough. So it's nice to get it, you know, just under the maximum, but you don't really want it over. Right, next thing I want to do, I want to change the clutch cable. I've noticed lately the clutch seems a lot tighter than it used to, especially compared to my son. My son's got exactly the same bike and his clutch feels really nice and light. So I'm going to try and change the cable, see whether it is that, because I mean mine looks a bit more tired than what his does. The first thing you need to do is slacken these bolts right back, so make this as loose as possible. Yeah, so what you do, you take this front nut right the way off so it comes completely off, and then you can get the cable through the gap on the holder. If you don't take that off, you won't, you know, don't try and force it out because it will just bend that open. Next thing you want to do, if you've got any of these like you know, these holding the cables together, you want to take all them off so you can free up the cable. Once you took all the cable ties off, I've loosened them all up, slacken this off completely at the top, and then you should be able to you'll be able to pull this cable out. You have to line the you know, the grooves in it. You have to line it up with this one to route the cable back up the same way. This is the way I do it. You tape that end onto the back end of this one, and then just pull it through. So yeah, so just pull it, get this from here, and just pull it back through, and it'll follow the same route. Straight away, without even like fitting it, I can feel that, like, how easy that one moves up and down compared to this one. This one's stiff as anything. But moves like, but you can feel the resistance. Up to the, you know, as tight as it can go. And what you want to do, you want to adjust the bottom first. You don't like loads of slack up here, so you take the slack out up here first. And you attach this bit back on first. Oh, sorry, secondly, to adjust it to the right tension. Right, I'll do that next and I'll show you. Okay, I finally got it on. It was a bit harder, this one was, because they've sent me the wrong bloody cable. This bit didn't fit to here, so I had to do a bit of a manipulation just to get it on there for today. If in the future I have to change this, it's one of them, I just have to, the cheapest chips anyway. But it's on there, and it does feel a lot smoother than it used to. Yeah, the clutch action feels a lot lighter. Alright, one last thing, I'm just going to give the chain a bit of a clean and re-grease, and then we'll tie this video up. Alright, first thing you want to do is clean off your chain. I use this Motul. It's got a number on it actually, it's C1 or something. Yeah, C1. You can do this with the engine running if you're super careful. Just make sure you don't put your hands in there because it will get sucked up in the chain. What I do is just spray it on, spin it. It's hard to do with the camera in my hand, but spin the wheel and spray it on. And make sure you get a good coverage. And once you've got it all on the chain, you get it a good spray. Just give it a good scrub, move it along, good scrub, make sure you get the back, top, underneath. It comes up nice and shiny. That's it. Once all you've got all the old crud off, Next you want to use some of the lube, which is the C2 stuff, which is this stuff. So yeah, what I usually do is just start the engine up. I'm not going to do it on the camera because it's really loud. Start the engine up, put it in first gear, let the chain go around, and then just give it a nice liberal spray. Try to get it on the top and the side. You know, try and get it on the bottom, top, and the sides. Don't put too much on. If you put loads on, actually, it will spray all over your wheel. And this video's gone long enough now, so I'm not even going to bother showing you. You know, it's pretty common sense, to be honest, the chain bit. Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it every like couple of. Depends what the weather's like, but I don't mind at least probably like once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Anyway, I hope this has helped somebody, and until next time, bye.